Tonight, diplomatic tailspin. India issues a travel advisory for Canada in its latest retaliatory strike. A new low as tensions rise.
India has upped the ante. It's probably the worst moment for this relationship.
The tourists and international students caught up in the dispute.
They are panicking now. They are nervous.
The nationwide clash over the curriculum on gender identity.
We are called haters. That's not the point.
They say they care about the kids. They don't.
Dueling protests and a lesson in solidarity. Plus, when determination and kindness go full cycle.
They put themselves out there to do this just to make his day.
The show of support to get a pint-sized BMX racer rolling.
2 medals?
Yeah.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina.
Good evening, everyone. The most populous country in the world issued a new warning to its 1.4 billion people today, advising travelers and students here to exercise, quote, utmost caution for what it calls anti-India activities and politically condoned hate crimes without actually providing any examples. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver leads us off with the potential impact of a deepening confrontation.
40% of international students in Canada come from India, the most of any country. But today, the Indian government told all 320,000 students to exercise caution in view of growing anti-India activities and politically condoned hate crimes and criminal violence in Canada.
People can read into that what they want. Canada's a safe country. The government of India can explain why they're doing that.
The updated travel advisory is the latest blow in a high-profile diplomatic standoff between India and Canada.
Between agents of the government of India.
After Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said India may have been involved in the murder of BC Sikh leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
I think both the government needs to work together to come on a table and talk to resolve this issue.
An international student representative from India, Damanpreet Singh, says students are concerned.
They are panicking now. They are nervous to see this kind of advisory comes from India.
The advisory extends to the tens of thousands of Indian tourists, too, who come to Canada every month. India is now the second major country to advise caution when traveling to Canada. Last month, China announced international tour groups would resume to 78 countries after COVID, but Canada wasn't one of them.
It's important to contextualize that one bit, the travel advisory, and see it as a larger part, of a larger suite of measures that the Indian government is presenting in an effort to show firm resolve in its spat with Canada.
But while there may be some concern in the transportation and tourism sectors, India's warning may not be enough yet to keep its nationals from traveling to Canada.
Today, the White House weighed in on the clash after a report in the Washington Post said that a group of allies rejected Trudeau's request to condemn India in a joint statement. Washington Omar says that report is false.
All right, Annie, thank you. And joining us now for his perspective is former Canadian Ambassador Arif Lalani. Thank you so much for being here. Diplomatic arrows have been shot all this week. The Prime Minister has said the accusation was not intended to provoke. Clearly, India doesn't see it that way. Can this relationship be salvaged?
Well, I think it can be salvaged, but just when you thought we were about to be back on track, it gets worse. And at the highest level, you have the Prime Minister of a G7 country standing up in Parliament, accusing a Democratic ally of a criminal act on our territory. So I think it's going to take a lot of work. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. There are billions of dollars of trade at stake here. There are people-to-people relationships. We have a large Indian community. We have several 100,000 Indian students here. All of that is going to have to be managed very carefully over the coming months for us to contain this to really what governments can do and try and protect the private sector and the people-to-people ties.
Canada is now at a point where its relationship with India is frayed. The relationship with China is frayed. Two significant countries. What does it mean for Canada going forward?
There's a real geopolitical angle here. All of our allies, Canada included, are trying to pursue an Indo-Pacific strategy, which rests on India to counter China. Now, Canada's not going to be able to play in that game anymore if we don't have a relationship with India. So I think our partners are really going to leave this as a bilateral issue for Canada to face alone, but also when they are trying to move to the most economic important region in the world, Canada's not going to be there. And so there are potentially very high costs for us.
A relationship we'll be watching for some time to come. Arif Alani, thank you so much for your perspective tonight. Appreciate it. Well, there are still many questions about the exact nature of the intelligence Canada says may link India to Hardeep Singh Nijjar's murder. But if there is evidence to show India orchestrated the killing, what, if any, recourse would Canada have under international law? CTV's BC Bureau Chief Melanie Nijjar takes a look at that question.
A parking lot steps away from a Sikh place of worship is where Hardeep Singh Nijjar was murdered. At the time, police said,
"We are dedicated to learning the facts and letting the evidence lead our investigation."
A sentiment investigators echoed this week, saying in a written statement they continue to work closely with numerous police agencies to advance the investigation. But advancing it may be extremely difficult. With the crime now allegedly involving India, experts say it's unlikely the country will share evidence.
Even if we have hard intelligence on the Canadian side, putting that into a court of law and being able to use that is not going to be easy.
The Indian government has strongly denied involvement in Nijjar's murder, but if there's any connection, it's a violation of Canada's sovereignty.
If indeed this was the decision of the Indian government, then it's a violation of one of the core tenets of international law.
It would also contravene a key section of the UN Charter, which states all members must refrain from the threat or use of force against another country's territorial integrity or political independence.
The other laws that it violates are, of course, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Many human rights instruments would be violated by this act.
If there's enough evidence, Canada could head to the International Court of Justice, similar to when it joined other countries in launching a case against Iran over the 2020 downing of a Ukrainian passenger jet. As for Nijjar's death, while police say the investigation is active, they have yet to release any new details. Melanie Nijjar, CTV News, Vancouver.
There has been another tragic incident in BC's deadly wildfire season. 4 contract firefighters on their way home from battling flames in the north died in a fiery highway crash. It happened early Tuesday morning on the Trans-Canada Highway west of Kamloops. Police say a pickup truck carrying the 4 men crossed the center line and slammed into a semi-truck. The driver of the semi managed to escape the burning wreckage. Thousands of people took to the streets today in cities right across the country, yelling and chanting at each other about the way schools teach sexuality and gender identity. A group calling itself 1 Million March for Children claimed they're standing together against what they call gender ideology in Canadian schools. But counter-protesters accuse them of hate. CTV's Vanessa Lee now on the controversy over curriculum.
There were confrontations in cities big and small right across the country as demonstrators spoke out against the teaching of sexual and gender diversity in the classroom.
I want my grandbabies to grow up well-rounded with their own thoughts without being coerced.
They were met by counter-protesters who called the rallies homophobic and transphobic, saying all children deserve to feel safe and welcome at school.
We have a huge crowd here today to hear and support. It makes me feel really welcome and really supported.
Police did their best to keep the 2 groups separated, though tensions boiled over in Vancouver, where 1 man was handcuffed and taken away. In Ottawa, police arrested 2 people for inciting hatred and another for causing a disturbance. The division disheartening for trans youth to see, many of whom covered their faces, they say fearing for their safety.
It throws us back to when we were in high school and we were like doubting our identities, and then no one would tell us about it, and we would be told that we're broken, we're different.
Amr Hanafi is the father of 2 young boys and is concerned about non-binary gender ideology being taught in elementary school.
What if they don't identify as male or female? Are they not able to just express who they are? They are able to express who they are, but what I'm saying is that it shouldn't be a classroom curriculum put into as if it's a scientific thing. These are just ideas.
This is an issue where we've got to come together, because kids' lives, and I've said it before, are very much at stake.
The mayor of Montreal, along with other mayors, called today's demonstrations shocking and unacceptable, saying the city will not tolerate discriminatory or hateful behavior. Omar.
All right, Vanessa, thank you. As Ukraine's counteroffensive against Russian forces drags on, Volodymyr Zelenskyy stepped up his push for international support at the UN Security Council. And as the Ukrainian president prepared for crucial meetings in Washington to get more military aid, he lashed out at Moscow. CTV's Joy Malvin reports from New York again tonight.
Far from New York, Ukraine is being ravaged by Russian missiles and might. Carrying the weight of his embattled country, President Volodymyr Zelenskyy took his sales pitch to the UN Security Council.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine, in clear violation of the United Nations Charter and international law, is aggravating geopolitical tensions and divisions.
Strong words, but not strong enough, says Zelenskyy, scolding the world body for its inability to stop the Russian invasion.
Humankind no longer pins its hopes on the UN.
Zelenskyy called for the UN to strip Russia of its veto power. It's never been done before. And to back his 10-point peace plan the Kremlin has already rejected. He wants a return of all occupied land, including Crimea, reparations to rebuild destroyed cities, and a special tribunal to investigate Russian war crimes.
Most of the world recognizes the truth about this war. It is a criminal and unprovoked aggression by Russia.
All eyes were on a possible diplomatic showdown, but Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov was not in the room. Later, in a rambling speech, Lavrov blamed the West for new global tensions, saying Russia has no intention of giving up its veto.
The right to a veto is an absolutely legitimate instrument.
The Prime Minister, like many nations here, says Canada stands with Ukraine.
It is not just Ukraine or even just Europe that suffers if we don't uphold our values. All of us will suffer.
Fearing the world's attention is moving on, Zelenskyy now takes his pitch and wish list to Washington. President Joe Biden plans to announce a $325 million aid package. But in a bitterly divided Congress, many Republicans are saying no.
It's going to be, hand out more requests for money, and my position on that's clear.
It's expected President Zelenskyy will receive a better reception in Canada. He'll address Parliament in person on Friday. On to Toronto after stops here at the UN and Washington. Omar?
All right, Joy, thanks. Azerbaijan declared a ceasefire and full control of a contested territory a day after a deadly and bloody military offensive. The truce prompted chaos in the Armenian capital. Armenian protesters are demanding their prime minister resign after the forced surrender of Nagorno-Karabakh. The breakaway region is an ethnic Armenian enclave, but internationally recognized as belonging to Azerbaijan. The decades-long conflict has killed tens of thousands of soldiers and displaced hundreds of thousands of civilians. Canada is facing a dire shortage of affordable places to live. And today, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre released a plan which he claims will speed up new home construction.
There will be a target of 15% more home building per year, which would double home construction within 5 years at a compounding rate.
It is a critical issue in Manitoba, where a provincial election is less than 2 weeks away. Here's Manitoba Bureau Chief Jill Makashon.
There isn't much room on Main Street these days. People fill the sidewalks as outreach groups offer food and water. Roger West is here most mornings, checking on people who live on the streets and others who have moved inside. This is one of Winnipeg's most notorious hotels. There have been at least 2 violent deaths here this year. Most people aren't paying, they're squatting. There are no locks on the doors, the rooms are scattered with debris. Sometimes 3 people share a mattress on the floor. A maze of hallways that finally takes us here.
This is my friend Wayne.
Wayne has piled his belongings against the door to keep people out. He doesn't want to talk today.
Okay, Kaylee.
What are you checking for?
Just to make sure they're okay. You got the politicians promising to do this and to do that, but they don't do jack, you know what.
Manitoba's progressive conservative government outlined a social housing strategy in February, promising 700 more units. Just 88 have been funded so far, and the wait list is long. There are more than 5,300 households now waiting for Manitoba housing. But Winnipeg has another problem. Properties are burning. The city already breaking an annual record for vacant building fires this year.
The number one thing that we need to do is make sure the provincial government is acting and making sure that we have supportive housing. And I think that that is a really big key in order to keep people housed and to keep some of these buildings from not burning.
The issues are piling up, and it is visible almost everywhere these days.
Overdose, the drug crisis, homelessness, poverty, just hopelessness. It's magnified right now.
He says there needs to be multiple layers of social supports, aid that should be added to any new housing projects.
You can't just give someone a unit. Some people will need that support their whole life, but some will only need it for a little while until they can get going.
The parties have promised everything from rental tax credits to same-day housing. Advocates say the help is needed now, but it will be the election that will decide how it is delivered. Jill Makashon, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Coming up, getting a handle on lost luggage.
Once I got there, I found my bag within like 30 seconds. It was crazy.
A traveler takes a cross-border hunt into her own hands, plus a lavish, star-studded welcome fit for a king. A cautionary tale for air travelers who may be wondering whether there is any value in attaching electronic tracking devices to their luggage. A P.E.I. woman is back home tonight with her valuable possessions in hand after flying thousands of kilometers to retrieve the bags her airline lost. CTV's Atlantic Bureau Chief Kristen Ajkate explains.
Frequent flyer Lacey Keown says she has never lost a bag at the airport. However, last week that all changed.
For some reason, my mom was really adamant that for this trip, I put an air tag in my bag because it had a lot of high value items in my suitcase.
Keown flew from Charlottetown to the Big Apple for New York Fashion Week as a chaperone for 17 young models. During her return flight with Flair Airlines, she immediately knew there was an issue when her Apple AirTag notified her that her bag wasn't on the plane.
We were a little bit out on the runway, so I could already see the distance in my bag and where we were, and that it wasn't there. So I was like, okay, this sucks.
After a week of trying to get an answer from Flair on locating her bag, the wait became unbearable for Keown, especially when she could see exactly where her bag was at John F. Kennedy.
Every time I would reach out to them through email or the phone, they would say the same thing, which was just, we're looking for your bag, we'll contact you when we find it. I'm in the building, my AirTag is still showing where the bag is, so here we go.
Keown then spent an extra $5,000 just to go back to New York to retrieve her bag.
Okay, so to everyone that said it was not going to work, I got it. It was in a pile of lost luggage at the Korean Airlines desk, which was so random.
Keown says her clothing and supplies cost around $8,000 and did not want her bag to go missing. In a statement to CTV News, Flair Airlines says, "We're very sorry for the inconvenience to Miss Keown. We will be reimbursing her for her incidentals, baggage fees, and refunding her ticket cost." Keown hopes some of her traveler's insurance will help cover the costs, and she is now working with Flair Airlines to provide all the documentation needed. Kristen Ajkate, CTV News, Halifax.
Still ahead, thrilling skywatchers.
These particles that get thrown out from the sun get caught up by these magnetic fields and funneled down towards the poles of the Earth.
The stars align for a rare celestial spectacle. King Charles and Queen Camilla's long-delayed state visit to France got underway today. The three-day trip aimed at highlighting the friendship between the two nations was supposed to have been held in March, but was postponed. because of protests against the French government's pension reforms. The royals were honored at a dinner held at the Palace of Versailles with a star-studded guest list that included Rolling Stones lead singer Mick Jagger and French-British actress Charlotte Gainsbourg. Police in northern Israel got quite a surprise when they went to a junkyard. They discovered a tank stolen from a military training base. It reportedly had been out of service for many years and was likely taken for its metal. An investigation is underway to find out exactly how it got there. Skywatchers were treated to a colorful celestial light show this week, compliments of a powerful solar storm. A dazzling display of northern lights painted the skies over southern Ontario and was spotted as far south as Colorado and Nebraska. This university astronomer says it was a plasma eruption from the sun that supercharged the aurora borealis.
And these particles that get thrown out from the sun get caught up by these magnetic fields and funneled down towards the poles of the Earth.
He says the sun's cycle will provide us with more southerly views of the northern lights over the next few years. Spectacular. After the break, the 3-year-old BMX rider on track for success. A budding BMX bike racer has taken off. The fearless 3-year-old refuses to let a few bumps in the road slow him down, instead kicking into high gear with riders 5 times his age. Here's CTV's Tyler Fleming.
Little West Willison rolls into every race with his best foot forward. As a 3-year-old BMX racer in South Ottawa, he's yet to earn his pedals and must push his way to the top.
Going up that hill. When did you go?
And blasting down, making strides alongside his dad Joel during today's practice.
I ran my dad in.
West is the youngest of his 3 siblings who all race as well.
I don't know how many other sports that I can get into that I can have my kids going with me together.
But in his rookie year, he's generating quite a bit of attention after a shocking and unexpected win against elite competition.
Every week there's races held for all different age groups, all divisions. Typically we come, there's other kids that race, and this race there happened to be no kids.
Go Westie.
With the race about to be canceled, West's mother Ali says a group of teenagers stepped up to take him on.
And they put themselves out there to do this just to make his day, for no other reason than to make him happy.
The video of the victorious lap went viral, surpassing 10 million views. So what does it mean for West?
I don't know.
He remains humble, but does like the hardware. West, you have a lot of medals there. Which one did you get for beating all those teenagers? 2 medals?
Yeah.
Lucky guy.
The community's been amazing. Every time we come here, somebody steps up.
Which is the mantra for the Nepean BMX Association.
I'm so happy to be able to help this track to grow in our city.
And to help young athletes like West develop skills and the integrity to compete. Tyler Fleming, CTV News, Ottawa.
We have all fallen in love with West, and that's a snapshot this Wednesday for all of us at CTV National News. Thank you for watching, and good night.